What? You don't know who you are? I know who you are. You're gone. You quit. We won't see you again. Ha, ha, ha.
Remember, you heard it right here. Detecto Rizzo Mac. Peace.
Just Eve. Just Eve. Just Eve. Cut the check black first because it's brilliant. People talk too much. Say less. Remain on cold, follow the spirit. When the going gets tough, it's time for resilience. A fight inherited, no turning back, we're on our way. Tune into Eve at the end of your day, defying the odds. She's breaking the mold, black, beautifully blunt. Eve's story is bold, unpopular talks, but they need to be heard. Eve's on a mission, spreading the word. Black America is fighting the oldest fight, using her voice, shining the light. Stay ready, stay strong, that's her creed. Eve's got the wisdom, planting the seed. Just Eve. Just Eve. Just Eve. Just Eve. Planting seeds. Cut the check black first because it's brilliant. People talk too much. Say less. Remain on cold, follow the spirit. When the going gets tough, it's time for resilience. A fight inherited, no turning back, we're on our way. Tune into Eve at the end of your day, defying the odds. She's breaking the mold, black, beautifully blunt. Eve's story is bold, unpopular talks, but they need to be heard. Eve's on a mission, spreading the word. Black America is fighting the oldest fight, using her voice, shining the light. Stay ready, stay strong, that's her creed. Eve's got the wisdom, planting the seed. Just Eve. Just Eve. Just Eve. Just Eve. Planting seeds. The check black first because it's brilliant. People talk too much. Say less. Remain on cold, follow the spirit. When the going gets tough, it's time for resilience. The check black first because it's brilliant. People talk too much. Say less. Remain on cold, follow the spirit. When the going gets tough, it's time for resilience. Cut the check black first because it's brilliant. People talk too much. Say less. Remain on cold, follow the spirit. When the going gets tough, it's time for resilience. The check black first because it's brilliant. People talk too much. Say less. Remain on cold, follow the spirit. When the going gets tough, it's time for resilience.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Happy Saturday. Today, November 16th. I know it's late, but it is the end of your day, right? It's following along with the song. Shout out to Nova for the voice and what's going on in the chat. What's up, all the way free? What's up, Spirit Wonder? To the listeners, what's going on? I hope y'all had a wonderful week. We had a great week over here, but man, the things that you see, the things that people say, and well, if you tuned in last week, you were privy to the confusion and or confusion, depending on who it was, and I guess just the fact that the orange man won the presidency, and he's not even the president yet, We've got people who are crashing out all over the place. You've got people who are saying things that sound very familiar, things that maybe other people have been saying first, and now it's just this, well, of course it's that way. Well, if it was that way, why were you dying on the hill of Karen Harris? I mean, Kamala Harris. This is Karen Hunter. Check. All right. When people say you have to be careful what you say, and because people can use your words against you, this might be a good example of that. But, well, is it really bad that people have certain feelings and then have certain questions because of these feelings?
DNA. So I'm very confident. We've been lax. We've let some people rise up and didn't check them. The Charlemagne's and them. Enough. Sit your ass down. Your cease and desist didn't work because you were always an operative from the beginning. Yes, he's entertaining. He put the mold of his booty on the thing, and he's funny, and he's got a donkey of the day. And isn't that lovely? But this motherfucker spoke out of his mouth, and then Trump used that damn ad ad nauseum. If you live in Georgia, if you live in North Carolina, if you live in Pennsylvania, you've seen this ad. It was playing on a loop because that man, putting up air quotes, said something on the radio that they used. So he tried to sue and did a cease and desist, and Trump ignored it because you can't make him do anything. He dared Charlamagne. What are you going to do? Because you are powerless. And
he's the boogeyman, you guys. He can't do anything to Trump. That's why everybody's so afraid of him. Oh no. But he can't give you reparations. He's not going to have a conversation. He doesn't want to do things that make sense. He's just going to do things that don't make sense. And because he's going to do things that don't make sense, well, that's why we don't want him in power. I don't know. It's like these people have all sides of every single argument against us getting what's owed to us. And I find that, his day one promises, or at least the things that he ran on. I voted for the couch. I am a blameless individual who pays taxes and follows the law. So I just a spectator at this point, understanding that the president of this country is also my president. So if that is indeed how we are living our lives, then as the biggest public servant, don't you have to do things for the people that you're beholden to? And no, I didn't vote for you, but again, as a tax-paying citizen that is supposed to be here, undeportable, shout out to Yaya, who has those shirts and merch, undeportable. You should check her out on Twitter or on X if you want that. But again, as an undeportable citizen who follows the law, my president should put us first, right? Or are we missing something? I don't know. Karen Hunter is definitely living up to her name as a Karen.
And you're a plant. I can't prove it, but you move very plant-like. Very shady, very sketchy. And then at the last minute, you admonishing people. This both sides thing, I will spit you out of your mouth because you're neither hot nor cold. No, you don't get to sit in lukewarmness. And it's not acceptable. As a matter of fact, it's more egregious. I take a person, blacks for Trump over Charlamagne at this point, because at least I know where that motherfucker stands. So this ad ran. Those of you who live in these swing states, you know it. I refuse to play it on these airways because, again, I'm not going to contribute. I want to be blameless. It's a beautiful place to be. Don't want to contribute to somebody's misinformation campaign.
She wants to be blameless. No, you can be blameless if you didn't vote or participate in the shenanigans and the tomfoolery. You cannot be blameless if you went out there and said that there was someone on the ticket speaking for Black America, because there wasn't. And I mean, I get it. You got the Jill Steins and you got the Cornell Wests. They were doing things, but I don't know if that's where we are. And then really, if we were there, all of these people screaming third party ticket is the way, but isn't the way because of the other two parties. Shame on them. Because if they just voted with their chest, if they said it with their chest, then the third party would actually be a contender. We wouldn't be this dual party scheme, poly scheme. What's going on, Kreitzer Jr.? He said you in there scheming. I don't think it, I personally don't think it's hard to do any of what you just said. The orange doofus in the White House. You know, he makes it very easy to say things. And I think it's because he doesn't care about the optics. If you know that what you're going to do outweighs anything that's going to be said, then who gives a fuck how it's said? Say less, right? But we haven't quite mastered that. I think as a people who have quote, quote, learned the 48 laws of power, you listen to rappers who talk about the 48 laws, you listen to these YouTubers talk about the laws, you might listen to Robert Greene, maybe. I would say maybe a handful of the people who have studied these laws actually go to the source. But even inside of the source, this man is a self-identifiable loser. Or at least before you all started giving him lots and lots and lots of money to tell you things that maybe you already knew, but felt some kind of way about it, because at the end of the day, it's a bunch of hypocritical thoughts. And if you're cool moving like a hypocrite, well, then I guess you can win in that arena. But Charlemagne is an employee. You know, people got to stop being mad at the employees. None of us have figured out this solution of dealing with the system that we live in. So I guess some grace needs to be given. If you've been listening or learning from Mr. Fuller, you would understand the grace that I'm talking about. But if you don't know who I'm talking about, well, if we're all in prison, then how do you blame another prisoner for your plight? You would need to focus on you, right? But then how is it so easy, but it hasn't been done yet? I think a lot of people worry about the wrong shit. This woman on your screen, the woman that I'm playing right now, it seems like she's worried about the wrong shit. But I'm just Eve. This is my opinion on these things, and I was wondering if y'all had an opinion or even heard these things.
But this play, I'm gonna play it now because the fate accompli. It is done. Play it, Smith.
Kamala supports taxpayer-funded sex changes for prisoners.
Surgery.
For prisoners.
For prisoners, every transgender inmate in the prison system would have access.
Hell no, I don't want my taxpayer dollars going to that.
Kamala supports transgender sex changes in jail with our money.
Kamala even supports letting biological men compete against our girls in their sports. Kamala is for they, them. President Trump is for you.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
With our money.
Kamala even supports letting biological men compete against our girls in their sports. Kamala is for they, them. President Trump is for you.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
This ran over and over and over and over and over and over and over. It's right up there with
and over and over and over. And she's mad. She's mad that the Republicans took a soundbite from, the what's it called? The Breakfast Club, or Charlemagne talking on, I don't know, being interviewed, and used it. And is she mad that he was used, or is she mad that he said something that made sense and it got used against the Democrats? I wonder if people understand how bad it is and they still want us to vote against our interest. They're so lost. They're so gone. And they want you to be as lost and gone as them. And if you're not, well, you're just throwing a monkey wrench in their plans. Their plans of, growing old and fat and happy. And then they get to tell the youth, well, it's your fight. Because I back in my day, if I had a nickel for every nigga who back in my day, and again, remember, we haven't quite solved the problem that is the system that we're all having to live in and deal with. So, all you back in my day niggas probably should just have several seats. But Karen, she's upset with Charlemagne for saying something and not choosing his words a little more carefully. But again, it's almost like the Democrats wanted to just run on this trust me, bro, party ticket system where, yeah, I got you. But just do this one thing for me and we can talk about it later. And Black America's had enough of that. Well, essentially, it seems like, and again, in my humble opinion, it seems like Black America, whether they want to admit it or not, is delineating. And I say want to admit it or not because maybe they don't even know. Maybe they don't even know that that's what they're doing. But I find that energy moves very mysteriously and meticulously because, if you ever thought that we would be at a time where people are referencing Trick Daddy and identity, well, that's now.
So a video is going viral of Trick Daddy explaining why he refers to identify as Black instead of African American.
I'm trying to figure out how Afro get in front of my mother race. I ain't never been to Afro color. I never been to Africa. Afro or Africa. Never been there. I'm not from Africa. I'm born and raised in Goose, Florida. I'm born in Goose, raised in Liberty City, the Poker Bean Project. Ain't never went to Africa. Ain't think about going there. And I heard it's a beautiful place. Yeah. And I know it's the motherland. Yes. But not my mother, not her mother, and not her mother's mother. That ain't their land. America, real true land is right here in the U.S. soils.
Now African American refers to an ethnicity, specifically people with ancestry from the African continent. Now, the term African American also became a default term because it was more appropriate to use rather than Negro or colored.
And here is where we start to have these disagreements of sorts, because is it really a better blanket statement term for us, or is it this lazy cop-out where hopefully the niggas in America aren't going to wake up to the bullshit of it all? And if they never wake up, well, they won't be able to identify, Joe from John. They already look alike, essentially, they all got the same color. Now, there are some differences, hairlines missing from some of the people who might have gotten here a little more recently, but we can do something about that. We can do something about the food that they eat and the optics of it all. We got weaves and lace fronts and American barbers. Y'all are magicians. I think that's pretty cool. You got Asians over in Asia, and I don't mean that disparagingly. I just mean that multiple Asian countries are mimicking the fade and afros and just a lot of Black hairstyles on their heads, and it's very strange. But I don't want to sidetrack because remember, people talk too much as it is, and deporting them with decency, that's really what I want to get to. But before we even get there, from Karen being upset with Charlemagne to, well, people still having this misunderstanding of why Black America doesn't want to be referred to as African American. It's like they just want to shove these things down our throats. It doesn't matter what we say, they're gonna do what the fuck they want to do anyway. And I'm sorry, as much as the Democrats, the Dummycrats, the Democrats have been trying to scare us away from the orange man who's going to do whatever he wants to do without worrying about the consequences, they've been doing the same thing, but worse. Not only do they say, oh, we're going to listen to you. Let's have a little barbershop conversation. Let's sit down with the girls and sip tea and kiki and kaka about the shits. And then at the end of the day, not only will they ignore the shits, but they will go and actively do outreach with the groups that are harming us. How do the Asians get a hate crime bill when they are screaming civil rights, which is a Black American experience? I mean, literally, the entire fight is ours, but we're still not getting anything. I posted a short earlier today with Outkast and Rosa Parks. And it's just crazy how we can use our plight and it just works. And then, other people try to use our plight and it's like, miss the mark by a lot. But, I get it. You want to be a part of something. You want to be a part of us. And I'm sorry, this seat's taken. Really, truly. Trick Daddy saying that his people have not been to Africa. That is as old as school days, and then even older. But remember, you had a lot of people cosplaying as Black Americans, so you might be listening to and or around people who don't have the same experience as you. They didn't grow up on the same TV with the same comedians, with the same, dare I say, icons in media. And I'm not saying that it was idol worship as much as it was people who were able to defy the odds and make it do what it do. They are the tokens. Earlier this week, I spoke with Dr. Winters on Reality Check. That's our show on Wednesday, and we talked about tokens. And, I went into the conversation thinking that tokens were bad. Like they are the spook who sat by the door. They are the Jesse Jacksons and the Al Sharptons. But after the conversation, I guess I kind of understand that a token is, well, it can go either way. Like that game at the arcade where you put the token in and it's supposed to push out more tokens because all of the tokens are right there at the end. And you just need that one quarter, that one token is going to be enough to, boom, jackpot. Put your token in and try again. Put another one in, try again. Some of you waste all of your tokens at that game because it looks like you're right there. And I mean, that's what Black America's been doing with the Democrats. We're like right there. And we put our token in, cast our vote. And we wait 4 years, 2 years, 8 years, and nothing happens. The Republicans get in office and not only are they not really worried about us, but in their ignoring of us, do we have an opportunity to thrive? It's so crazy that, we can ask for attention and then be ignored in a very bad way, and then not ask for attention and be ignored and benefit from it. People keep saying that Trump is and had benefited from Obama's presidency and how we're dealing with Trump's presidency. The past 4 years has been because of Trump. And I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, I understand spending. And I mean, if we're going to be completely honest, it's still a topic that is a little sore for me. But it's not just me. Women, if we're being honest, women, we don't spend the way that we're supposed to. So, maybe things not adding up at the end of the day, if you don't have someone helping you with these checks and balances, maybe it's a self-inflicted wound. But I find it strange that women vote more than men and in bigger numbers than men, but the men are being blamed for the upcoming presidency. How? Unless it's just, one of these Democrat talking points of confusion. And don't get confused with this point. Both sides don't give a shit about us, but I find that it is the side that is feigning friendship and allyism and then actively saying fuck you. And not only is it fuck you, but it's fuck you very, very badly and bigly. I think that's a little bit worse. I saw it on TikTok first. And actually, before I get there, let me finish what I was going to say about Trick Daddy and this identifying with black.
African American. I never been to Africa. Ain't never went to Africa. Ain't thinking about going there. And I heard it's a beautiful place. America, real true land is right here, in the U.S. soil.
I agree 100%. Do we refer to white people as European Americans? No, they're just Americans, or they're just white on any form or anything. When you put African in front of American, it does two things. See, when you don't want to give me a bank loan, I'm an African. When you want to give me systemic racism, I'm an African. When you need me to go fight for your country, I'm an American. I always felt like on our applications when we have something to fill out, we should be Black Americans. Because we're Black Americans, what it's saying is I'm an American. I'm just a black one. And now I can see eye to eye with a white American.
Nigga, what? And I'm sorry. Wicked. Look, homie. Sorry, I don't know you, so not my homie. But this is not this is not to disparage you. I just this is what I meant. Like, sometimes the energy is so strong that people don't even really know what the fuck they're talking about as much as they are absolutely on it 100%. But then they get an audience and people say, well, if that's why you want to be Black American, well, that shit didn't really make any sense. Like, what did that nigga really say? And I feel you. He didn't really say the things that make sense. I mean, Trick Daddy, he gave you a verifiable reason. His lineage for as far back as he can recall has not been on that landmass. So why would you refer to him as African? I think that is a very valid reason to not want to be identified as African American. I mean, shit, if Elon's not African American and if Charlize the abuser thereon is not African American, then how are we African American? I mean, if anything, we would be Native American. But, well, I think Elizabeth Warren would have something to say about that, right? And while we're talking about some weird ass cosplaying, I saw this just randomly today. This came out a few hours ago. In San Francisco, there's a petition because the school is saying that this woman was and is the newly appointed Black family liaison for San Francisco middle schools. They're saying she might not have the qualifications, but it is not because of this. They're saying she made some transphobic remarks. And why is it that we keep getting lumped in with the free sex people? I don't know that we are championing and campaigning for free sex as much as we really just want to be left alone. Maybe if you want more than just to be left alone, you might want our reparative justice, right? Maybe you're a little bit like me and you're saying, hey, you know, the math ain't mathin'. Y'all keep saying that we're supposed to be able to do these things, but we are not able to do these things. And then we keep voting for you, but nothing is making sense. You want to see some shit that doesn't make sense? Look at this.
If you get deported, would you regret your support to Donald Trump?
No me arrepentiría.
He's saying that he wouldn't regret supporting Donald Trump. So you're really not thinking about yourself. You're thinking about your children and the future of your children.
Yes, I want the better for my children.
If you get deported, would you regret your...
How? And have you guys seen the amount of illegals who have voted? I mean, maybe they're just trolling, and shout out to them because this is masterful trolling at this point. But I really think some of them fuckers did vote. Like, actually, factually voted. And they're not even supposed to be here and they voted for Trump. So is it like this Democrat fucking themselves over type of scheme where they said, okay, vote for Trump, and then we're going to get the election overturned because of all the illegals who voted for Trump? Is that where they're going? Or is it, come over here because we're giving you shit, and don't forget to wear your Biden and Harris shirt to the polls, and, make sure you get all your photo ops and get your Obama phones and all of these things, and don't forget about us. And then they get to the voting booth and say, yeah, we fled because them fuckers over there, they don't know how to act. They taking shits on the beach, and, they just doing the most. So we want to close them borders. Thanks for the ticket over here, but we really need them borders to close now. Thanks. It's crazy. In September, there was a congressional hearing where they say specifically border encounters under the Biden administration had surpassed 10.1 million, with over 8.2 million encountering along the southwest border. And this is just the numbers for one of the borders. Experts estimate that nearly 2 million have evaded arrest and are known to be gotaways. What's even more crazy is that it says 382 individuals' names appear on the terror watch list, and that was compared to 11 from 2017 to 2020. So from 21 to 24, 382 names are people of interest who have potentially come across the borders, but nothing to be alarmed of. I don't know if you've seen the clip that was rotating where in 2022, Kamala says that the border is secure. And then as she's running for president, she's saying that she's going to secure the border. Why are people so flip-floppy? And then again, the people who are not even supposed to be here understand the gravity and the severity of what is coming. Tom Homan was the former ICE head. He is returning as the border czar. And the media, at least the left, they said that he's a bad man. Let's see if I can find the clip without clicking on a clip that I'm not trying to show you right now. Well, there.
That Donald Trump has made some pretty good picks thus far for the new government. Sure, there have been a few doozies, let's be honest, but let me tell you, I think that one man, Tom Honan, Donald Trump's new border czar, is going to be amazing. Just listen to him here, schooling Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Includes family separation.
The same as is with every U.S. citizen parent gets arrested when they're with a child.
Zero tolerance was interpreted as the policy that separated children from their
If I get arrested for DUI and I have a young child in the car, I'm going to be separated. When I was a police officer in New York and I arrested a father for domestic violence, I separated that father
Mr.
from his
Holman, with
family.
all due respect, legal asylees are not charged with any crime.
When you're into the country illegally, it's violation 8 United States Code 1325.
Seeking asylum is legal.
If you want to seek asylum, you go through the port of entry, do it the legal way. The Attorney General of the United States has made that clear.
Okay.
Wow. How good was that? And you know that he's a good pick because the ladies at The View are also losing their minds.
The appointment of Tom Homan today as border czar, and he will be in charge of a mass deportation program, the largest the country has ever seen, they say. And now Stephen Miller, as deputy chief of staff, should let you know that he was absolutely serious. What it means is grandmothers. What it means is brothers and aunts. What it means is abuelos y abuelas. It means dreamers. Those of you who voted for Trump, this is what you wanted. This is what you voted for. You screwed around and you're about to find out.
But look, I don't think he's going to be good just because he's causing meltdowns all over the place. Although, frankly, that's
Separation.
Cortez.
Includes family separation.
The same as is whenever U.S. citizen parent gets arrested when they're with a child.
Zero.
Look at this, you guys. She, okay, sorry, I guess. They're not trying to show it to you. There you go. She is not happy about that answer.
Zero tolerance.
Did you see the pause?
Includes family separation.
The same as is whenever U.S. citizen parent gets arrested when they're with a child.
Because isn't that common sense? Like, if I break the law, they're going to take my minis away. That is a consequence of breaking the law. How is it that you can come over here illegally and not only are you not separated from your children who didn't do anything, because don't fuck my words up, you guys. The children of illegals did nothing wrong. Children can't do these things not without a lot of assistance. So blameless they are. But who's responsible for them? Well, their parents are. And if their parents are having to suffer the consequences of coming here illegally, well, it sounds like they fucked it up for everybody. I mean, shit, there was a whole time in our lifetime where there was a stereotype, be it true or not, of Black parents fucking up their children's credit. So if you can fuck up my credit before I can have credit, and then I have to deal with the consequences of you fucking up my credit, well, again, how is it that citizens are beholden to the law, but people who are breaking the law by being here are not having to have the same or worse consequences? I mean, really, I really feel like it should be worse. Not only did you come over here illegally, but your ass got caught. So you really should, there should be a special place for you. I mean, really, if you don't want to go back, fine. It sounds like you've signed up for some voluntary servitude for, I don't know, a designated amount of time. And then, maybe after you've worked off your debt, then you can be here. But then I understand there is an argument of us still having to house these people, feed these people, and treat them with decency. So maybe we just send them back. Maybe we send them all back, deporting them with decency. I think that is keeping the families together. I think that's decent. I think that's humane. I think it's inhumane to send a child on a journey that is thousands of miles of having to wonder if the people that your parents set up for you along the way are going to do the things that they said they were going to do with the money that your parents paid them, that they're not going to want to fuck you or worse. Some of these babies don't even make it. I mean, wasn't it Elias Gonzalez? What the fuck was that fresh off the boat Cuban name that had America up in a tizzy? I can't remember. It was from when I was little. I should have looked it up. I didn't think about it before then, before now, but makes me think about back then. And shit, if we didn't deal with that shit back then, we might not have such problems now. This man, he's got the left in a tizzy, and I call cap. I don't know that I have any issue with Trump's cabinet, any issue more than I had with Biden's cabinet. And before we even get to Biden's cabinet, so far, this is what we've got. These are the spiceless people. I'm going to get to Robert Kennedy in a moment, but let's get down here. Vivek. They keep saying that Trump's cabinet is devoid of black people. These are the same people who said that Kamala was black. So if Kamala's black, then Vivek's black. So y'all gonna have to pick a side, right? Pick a fucking side. And, well, I guess I do have issues with some of his cabinet. But again, I don't know that there is a lesser of two evils, as much as if I see evil, I'm not going to participate in it. And maybe I'll pop some popcorn to watch the shit show that is you stupid motherfuckers choosing evil and then trying to make us feel some kind of way about it. Let's see. Did you hear about Corey Burke? No? Okay, let me tell you about Corey Burke. Corey Burke is a, there she is. One guess, which one is Corey? Is it this one or is it this one? Is it the one on the left or is it the one on the right? Okay, you don't have to guess too hard. I'm definitely going to tell you. Corey is the one on the left. And Corey murdered her daddy. And Corey murdered her daddy on election night because there was some sort of weird argument about leaving the lights on. If you were to Google search Corey Burke, there will be a lot of fact checking from MSN to CNN, NBC. Everybody's fact checking. And I guess rightfully so. The story broke on X when it said that a space rocket program manager brutally killed her father with an ice axe on election night after a breakdown following Donald Trump's victory. Now, all of these fact checks, they keep saying there was no report of her saying anything about Trump. Nobody said anything about Trump. Trump, nothing. Okay. What they didn't say was not true is that Burke considered the attack to be an act of liberation, that she was accused of strangling, biting, and hacking her 67-year-old father to death in their $800,000 Seattle home. So, Corey, pictured with her man wife. Corey, man wife. Got it? Good. So, the left. The left wants you to be afraid of the orange man when they, okay, not all, but a lot of them look like this and are very violent. They are so violent because they say, well, Trump grabs them by the lady parts and he's a rapist and he's all of these bad things and and he's a felon and you can't vote for Trump, you guys. Don't you know what he's gonna do to the women? And I don't know, from being the biggest voting bloc to, I don't know, being the biggest influence on children, women, toxic femininity might need to replace toxic masculinity. Well, unless you're talking about this fucker right here. That might be toxic, but I don't know if it's masculine. There's Corey. Corey worked for Blue Origin, which is the spacecraft company founded by Jeff Bezos. According to the New York Post, the killing was meant to help people change their attachment to their parents and had to happen today. Apparently, Corey snapped. Then she went upstairs and grabbed an ice pickaxe, tripped him, choked him, and bit him on the floor. I mean, I don't know if this is an act of liberation as much as maybe Corey is getting some sort of revenge on her daddy. Maybe he did do some things to her. I don't know. I'm just a casual observer of events. And inside of my observation of these things, a lot of the left, not only are they violent, but, well, and not only are they of the free sex thinking people, but violent and free sex and wanting our children to be exposed to these things without any filter or caution or, I don't know, maturity. It just seems like decency left the left a long time ago. They want us to deport people with decency, but was it decent when they came over here and just said, fuck the law? Was it decent when they said that the American children, who gives a shit about them as long as you take care of me and my dreamers? Who gives a shit, right? In New Zealand, powerful protest. Let's see if I can get it up for you.
The health.
Now, I don't know if y'all can see Homeboy's kicks, but he is definitely wearing some snakeskin Jordans or Forces, but they definitely Nikes and they're definitely snakeskin. I can't. Oh man. Oh, let's see. Is this one better?
We're in the middle of a vote.
Mr. Speaker, I called it a personal vote.
No, sit down. We're in the middle of a vote.
Mr. Speaker.
A party vote has been called for. There's a process here.
New Zealand National.
49 votes in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
34 votes opposed.
Te Pāti Māori.
E ono ngā poti e whakahe.
You see them shows? I'm sorry. I know. Niggas can't never be serious. I'm just saying they doing a haka and he's wearing Jordans. That is so great, right? Almost like they stealing that Black American energy all over again, right? Not gonna say that the indigenous people of New Zealand have not always been rowdy like this, or at least socially they're known now to a lot of us as being rowdy and doing hakas and having such strong voices about their indigenous culture. I find that they're a little light and their hair is a little straight. but that's okay. That's okay. It is the spirit, right? And the spirit, man, I saw something on Twitter where there was some congressional caucus members talking about this haka that we see, and well, they said, let's get it. And I'm like, let's get it. You talking to the same people who this is your congressional black caucus. I had to mute it because not only are they not doing the Dougie the right way, but I don't want to get a copyright strike tonight. But yeah, that's the dancing that them niggas is on. The Dougie and the phone and the pics and the likes and the clicks. I don't think them niggas remember. I think maybe they spilt too much blood on them bridges in Selma, and maybe that's why they don't have any common sense anymore. You know, common sense is not spending $2.6 million in private flights for your staff when you only have a couple of months to win the election and you only have to not drop the ball. You know, common sense is not working on a show like The View, making an alleged $8 million and saying that you can't afford to quit, even though you should be able to. I mean, how are you spending your money, Whoopi, if you have to work on The View? And if you have to work, then maybe you shouldn't be saying these things so boldly. You know, if it's just for the check, maybe you wouldn't die on these hills that don't make sense. From Oprah saying that she didn't actually get paid to, well, these women's of the West co-opting the 4B movement. It's strange. It's like it's almost like we don't remember that the invader class lacks melanin. I got one more video, I think. Psych, got a different video.
Pleased to partner with OMH and with. Hello, I'm Admiral Rachel Levine. This Black History Month, I'm pleased to partner with OMH in advancing better health through better understanding for Black communities. Climate change is having a disproportionate effect on the physical and mental health of Black communities. Black Americans are more likely than white Americans to live in areas and housing that increase their susceptibility to climate-related health issues.
Okay, so 5G towers that pop up in Black neighborhoods and the fact that highways, you know, run through Black neighborhoods. You've got the railroads going through Black neighborhoods, all of this pollution and, well, lack of care and treatment to the facilities in these Black areas are leading to these health issues. But, you know, let's talk about the climate, right?
And 65% of Black Americans report feeling anxious about climate change's impact.
Now, really? Or have 65% of Black Americans said they are concerned about the climate, but they really meant like how things are? You know, when they say, what's the weather, they're not really talking about, is it going to rain, as much as, are we in the midst of a storm? And are you going to be able to get out of it? Are you prepared? You got the things? You ready?
Through our Office of Climate Change and Health Equity and the Office of Environmental Justice, we're working with providers and community leaders to identify innovative approaches that empower communities to address the health consequences linked to climate change.
But what about Flint? Right? Or am I Flint? Isn't the water still fucked up there? That's not the only place. It's just the the place everybody knows. It's so strange. It's so strange, you guys, that we can exist in a time where people say that these things are problematic, but, well, not only are we not going to do anything about these things, but we're going to redirect the energy, resources, and attention to everything else. Rachel Levine was not the head of the health department. She was he see, they fucked me up tonight. I almost called that man she. He was the assistant to the top dog, but we never saw him. We always saw him.
Hello, I'm Dr. Rachel Levine.
That's a good boy.
As an openly transgender woman, I would like to highlight the importance of diversity. Diversity should be welcomed and actually celebrated.
President Trump.
See, that's the diversity that Trump is trying to fight. These people understand that we talk in levels, we talk codified, we are very deep and very shallow. So terms that are normally used and reserved for us, they use for other people. We say, hey, what about us? And they say, what about you? Didn't you say that you wanted equality for all? You know, it's very important that we're very specific about what it is that we want and what is necessary, because if we're not, then we will be allowing the abusers to say what the penalty will be. I don't know if I have any memory of my parents saying, okay, Eve, you got in trouble. Now, what do you want your consequence to be? Do you want an ass whooping or do you want punishment? It's like, let me stop playing. I did get that. I got that. Maybe y'all got it too. Maybe you got to pick which branch from the tree you were going to get whooped with. Maybe there was the illusion of inclusion, of your thoughts and words and, what you had to offer on the situation. But America, for the past 4 years, has had to deal with this man in a dress. And they're saying that this man in a hat is not fit to talk about health. I'm not saying he's fit because he's lifting weights. No, it has nothing to do with that. I am saying that things like this. Sorry.
Let's declare it a summer of pride. Doritos, Cheez-Its, Captain Crunch, gummy bears. Everyone knows that these are junk foods, so maybe you wouldn't be too surprised to see that the ingredients include a lot of poisons, including a harmful yellow dye called tetrazine.
Now, before YouTube strikes this for medical misinformation, because they do like to do that to my shows, I didn't even say it. That was the future Secretary of Health speaking. And I mean, you guys have Google, you have a dictionary, maybe you even have a god dang encyclopedia at your fingertips. Look it up. It's on your screen. The spelling, that is. I mean, if it's okay, then cool. If it's not, then maybe you do something about it. Maybe when they said, your body, my choice, and maybe when they said, we're going to protect you whether you like it or not, it was along the lines of, the house is on fire and you're sitting here trying to figure out who started the fire when your ass really needs to get out the house. You can worry about the cause after you've not succumbed to your injuries.
Or yellow dye number 5. This yellow dye, tartrazine, causes tumors, asthma, developmental delays, neurological damage, ADD, ADHD, hormone disruption, gene damage, anxiety, depression, intestinal injuries.
At Health and Human Services, we're focusing on health equity. We are working, for example, on the impacts of climate change on health.
Climate change. Gosh dang climate change. not on the food, not on the regulations for the food, things that they actually can do something about. But no, let's talk about the goddamn weather. Let's talk about the ozone layer. Let's talk about shit that we're fucking with that later we're going to say, oh yeah, it was the 58 billion satellites circling the planet, making us look like a planet with a ring around it that caused a lot of the cancer and disruption and all of this shit. But, we're not there yet. No. The Democrats wanted us to ignore these glaring red flags. This is a big, fat, glaring red flag. And I'm happy that the people who voted said enough is enough.
We're working on environmental justice.
Not only do the chemicals pollute our bodies, the same way that they pollute the soil, but corporate interests have hijacked the USDA's dietary guidelines. We're going to ban the worst agricultural chemicals that are already prohibited in other countries.
When it comes to making sure kids are healthy and happy, I know how important care that affirms someone's true identity can be. Gender-affirming care is life-saving.
No, it has been proven that all of this gender-affirming bullshit is very harmful. You guys can look it up. The little boy who was on the cover of National Geographic for being, this trans boy girl is trying to detransition. A lot of these children whose parents were stuck on stupid don't want to be anymore. And I meant that how I said it. They don't want to be here anymore. According to this article, 9-year-old Avery was the poster child for gender transition. Now the group Restore Childhood has caught up with him. Tragically, he started to grow out of his girl phase, but his mother had already chemically altered his body and castrated him. That's child abuse. And the Democrats wanted us to just be cool with that. When they call America Babylon, it is because of shit like this. And when you see white women stealing the fight of other women, saying that they're going to say no to men and not have sex and not get married and not have children. And these women were already not getting married, not having children. Essentially, they were killing the babies that were growing inside of them. They were already not doing these things. So to sit here and act like Trump becoming president is this reason for you to be liberated. Fuck you. You were of the class of women who said that we are equal to men and wanted equality and access to jobs that you have zero business doing. And then you're mad that you're not treated like a lady. Deporting them with decency. Now, decency will come back when you guys act like you have some common sense. Decency will be granted to people who know how to act when they go out places. Decency, well, I think that's going to have to be a reciprocal notion. But as we are getting very comfortable in our delineating, a lot of people are going to be uncomfortable with how we do it. And that's okay, because I think putting yourself first, making sure that no harm comes to you or your family, to your surroundings, to your community, I think that that's a decent way to live. And if you agree with me, hit the likes. Until next time, you guys, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And maybe you'll be up next time I go live, because I think we're going to make it a thing doing this thing, a little bit later, making sure that we get all of our T's crossed and our I's dotted, and that I can give you information in a bite-sizable way. Until next time, y'all have a good night.